Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Barbarian Runecasts. I'm Conan Tanner, and in this YouTube channel, we are going to consult the Nordic runes, which is an oracle system, and it's based on the ancient alphabet called the Elder Futhark alphabet. If you've seen images of like the super ancient rock circles and rock pillars in Scandinavia, and the signs that have been carved into the rocks, those are the runes. There's 24 runes altogether, and the runes shed light. So any sort of situation that you want more information on, any sort of dilemma that you would like more perspective on, or some hidden knowledge, if you just want to awaken your own intuition, these are all things that the runes are fantastic for helping with. So for this YouTube channel, Barbarian Runecasts, it's all going to be about runes. So every episode will be some sort of runecast. I want to do forecasts, runecast forecasts for the moon phases. So kind of like an astrological forecast, but using the runes to shed light upon the coming weeks and maybe some general themes, motifs, some maybe stuff to look out for, challenges ahead, whatnot. Just kind of a pulse, getting a general pulse of the collective vibe, and helping us to navigate our way through this life. So today is a great day to draw some runes because it's the full moon. It was a beautiful 11/11 full moon last night. I hope you all enjoyed it. Those of you who had clear skies, it was magnificent. So the new moon is November 26th. So this forecast is going to be from today, the 12th, November 12th, through November 26th. I'm going to do a 3-rune spread, and that gives, the first rune sorry about that. The first rune gives overview of the situation. The second rune gives the action called for, and then the third rune shows you the new situation once the action is taken. So just a nice little roadmap for general vibe of the next couple weeks. Some people have asked me, like, where did the runes come from? Obviously, I don't know the exact date that they came into existence, but they're very ancient, and the story behind the runes is that Odin, being the badass MFer that he was, decided that he wanted to kind of level up for his psychic capabilities and awareness. He wanted to be able to look into the future. He just wanted to be able to see more clearly the unseen, the great mystery. So he went to Yggdrasil, which is the world tree in the Nordic tradition. It's at the center of the worlds, and it grows out of the well of Erd, which is a fathomless, depthless, opaque, dark well of water, and it's the source of all things, literally. That's where the tree of life grows, out of the well of Erd. So Odin figured he needed to gaze at the well, but not just any sort of gaze. He realized, as a true shaman, that he had to put himself through some kind of an ordeal in order to achieve the appropriate state of mind, the altered state in which he can achieve his goal. So what he did is he took a spear and he pierced himself. He gave himself, the Christ wound is also Odin's wound. He pierced himself with the spear, and then he went and hung upside down on Yggdrasil, so he was left hanging, staring at the well of Erd, and he forbade any of the gods or goddesses to give him any kind of assistance whatsoever. He said, I'm either going to die here or I'm going to achieve this vision. So he didn't have food, he didn't have water, and he laid there with the wound, the spear wound, on his side for 9 days and 9 nights. And then finally, after the 9th night, he saw the runes, the shape of the runes in the well, and he was able to kind of download the information, what those runes represent, and hence the rune system was born. So today, thank you, Odin. Thank you, Old Greybeard. Let's just take a breath real quick and ground before we draw these runes. Alright, I'm just going to burn a little bit of sage. So when you burn the sage, it dispels any negative or obstructing spirits. So now is a good time to call on Ganesh. Excuse me, if you believe in or resonate with Ganesh. Ganesh, of course, being the remover of obstacles. So Ganesh is kind of like the embodiment of the sage. But the sage also dispels any sort of negative spirits, that kind of stuff. We don't need that up in our lifestyle. So I'm just going to break off a little Spriggaroo. I'm going to light this sage. Ate Malchus Vigeboram Vigedulam Leolam Amen. Ate Malchus Vigebora Vigedula Leolam Amen. Feel that nice sage. Thank you, sage. Help clearing our space for us today. Now I'm going to burn a little bit of sweetgrass, which brings in the helper spirits, the ancestors, all the positives, the little sprites, the little garden gnomes, all the helper spirits. I'm going to call them in. For those of you who've never smelled sweetgrass, definitely find some sweetgrass and burn it. It's the most wonderful smell. So soothing and calming. It lives up to its name, the sweetgrass. So we're calling in the helper spirits. Thank you. Thank you for being with us today, helper spirits. Thank you, old graybeard, for summoning the runes from the depths of the well of Erd, and for being present with us and with everyone whenever they draw a rune. Thank you to Hugin and Moon and Odin's two ravens. The ravens were thought and memory, Hugin and Mugen, and they would fly around the world and telepathically communicate to Odin the goings on. And then they would come back and on either side, and they would whisper into his ears everything that's happening as well. Thought and memory, Odin's ravens. All right, everyone. So, one last thing. I have a bag of rock salt, unprocessed salt. It's very important that it's unprocessed. This is Himalayan pink salt, and I'm just going to consecrate the rune cast right now by sprinkling a little bit of salt on the sage, on this candle I have, and on the book of runes and my runes themselves. Alright, we're ready to draw the first rune. So this one's going to represent the situation, the overview of the situation collectively in our consciousness, in the vibe, in the ether for the next moon phase, the next 2 weeks, next 14 days. Yom Ram. Alright. I drew Berkana. The last time I tried this, it didn't work, but I upgraded my webcam, so let's see if... Oh, good, it works now. So that's Berkana. And I think it's... Yeah, it's not backwards. Berkana is the rune of growth. Berkana, the rune of growth, rebirth, and a birch tree. The situation as it is for the next couple weeks. Another of the cycle runes, Berkana denotes a form of fertility that fosters growth, both symbolically and actually. The growth may occur in affairs of the world, family matters, one's relationship to oneself or to the divine. A rune that leads to blossoming and ripening, Berkana is concerned with the flow of beings into their new forms. Its action is gentle, penetrating, and pervasive. What is called for here is going into things deeply, both care and awareness. First, disperse resistance, then accomplish the work. For this to happen, your will must be clear and controlled, your motives correct. Any dark corners should be cleansed. This must be carried out diligently and sometimes with expert help. Modesty, patience, fairness, and generosity are called for here. Once resistance is dispersed and rectification carried out and seen to hold firm, then, through steadfastness and right attitude, the blossoming can occur. Berkana, and we drew it in the forward position. So the book that I consult right now it's called The Book of Runes, and it's by a gentleman named Ralph Bloom. And this book is a magical book. This particular copy is especially magical for secret reasons, just the way it came into my life and stuff. And so the thing with it is that Ralph Bloom was a very wise man, and he did a really nice job describing these runes. So the words themselves do contain wisdom and power, and it's very possible to resonate with the words themselves. But the real meat and potatoes of the process is not the words that Ralph has written in the book, but the thoughts and ideas that are inspired by the words that are in your own mind. So everyone's going to hear the words differently, and everyone has different backgrounds and paths and all this stuff. So that's where it really, where the rubber meets the road is as I speak the words, what ideas come into your mind, what thoughts, what epiphanies, what questions. Pay attention to this stuff, and you might even want to have a notepad and write it down for each one. So the situation as it is growth, and it says what is called for here is going into things deeply, with care and awareness. First, disperse resistance, then accomplish the work. So the next rune is going to be the action that we're being called to take. Put Berkana down here. Thank you to my friend Tiger Lily for mailing me this beautiful set of amethyst runes. I love it. Alright, so this is what we drew for the action called for. It's definitely the reverse position. It's the signals rune. The signals rune and the possessions rune are very similar, so I had to consult. But it's the signals rune, and we drew it in the reverse position. So let's see what it says for the action we're being called to take. The signals rune is called Ansu's, and it also correlates with the messenger rune and the god Loki. Reversed, you may well be concerned over what appears to be failed communication, lack of clarity or awareness in either in your past history or in a present situation. You may feel inhibited from accepting what is offered. A sense of futility, of wasted motion may overwhelm you. Remember, however, that what is happening is timely in your process. If the well is clogged, this is the moment for cleansing out the old. Ansu's reversed is saying, consider the uses of adversity. So the situation, what we're going through is growth, and the action we're being called is to embrace the struggle, basically. I have it tattooed on my chest, the word sisu. It's a Finnish word, and there's no direct English translation, but it's basically like there's perseverance, and then there's what is beyond. When you keep going, even though you have nothing left to give, that's sisu. Also, sisu is seeing a situation, maybe you have really long odds, but being cheerful about it and saying, well, do the best I can, that's all we can do. So cheerfully accepting adversity and being stoic and positive, and in a way kind of like letting the will of heaven proceed by giving all of your own will, but realizing that sometimes you can only do what you can do. And that's no small thing either. I think we're all capable of miracles. So reversed. Remember, however, that what is happening is timely in your process. If the well is clogged, this is the moment for cleaning out the old. Ansu's reversed is saying, consider the uses of adversity. And again, there's this emphasis on clearing out old thought patterns, going into the dark corners of your mind, really being diligent about it, sweeping out. I like to use the visualization of going into the attic of your mind and sweeping the corners, all the cobweb and all the dust bunnies, sweeping it all up, sweeping up your attic, and maybe, I was going to say Windexing, and then I stopped myself because I thought, like, that's not woke to use Windex. But I guess I'll go with the thought, Windexing the window in the attic so you can see clearly through. So also, like, I think windows are a good metaphor for our souls. And, sometimes it gets kind of like droplets of water leave stains or fingerprints or whatever get on the window. And you have to clean the window, make it shine, and then you can see clearly through it. Same with our souls, with our psyche, with our consciousness. We need to always be cleaning it, shining it, making it perfectly transparent. All right, so I'll put this one down. Signals reversed. Ansu is reversed. This is the action being called for the next 2 weeks. And the third rune is the new situation that will arise once this action has been taken, once this process unfolds. My neck has been kind of sore lately, so if you see me doing that, that's why. Om Mani Padme The new situation we drew the rune of the self for the new situation. We drew it in its upright position, which looks like this. The rune of the self, upright. This rune is called Manaz. The starting point is the self. Its essence is water. Only clarity, willingness to change is effective now. A correct relationship to yourself is primary, for from it flow all possible correct relationships with others and with the divine. I'm going to read that one more time. A correct relationship to yourself is primary, for from it flow. See, that's a tongue twister, that's why. more time. We got it. A correct relationship to yourself is primary, for from it flow all possible correct relationships with others and with the divine. Remain modest. That is the oracle's counsel. Regardless of how great may be your merit, be yielding, devoted and moderate. For then you have a true direction for your way of life. It's a very Taoist mentality, very Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu. Be in the world but not of it. That is implicit here. And yet do not be closed, narrow, or judging, but remain receptive to impulse flowing from the divine within and without, so above as below. Since to live the ordinary life, strive to live the ordinary life in a non-ordinary way. Remember at all times what is coming to be and passing away, and focus on that which abides. Nothing less is called for from you now. This is a time of major growth and rectification, and as a rule, rectification must come before progress. The field is tilled before the seed is planted. The garden is weeded before the flower blooms, and the self must know stillness before it can discover its true song. This is not a time to seek credit for accomplishments or to focus on results. Rather, be content to do your task for the task's sake. This is more a problem for those whose eyes are always on the goal than for those who have not forgotten how to play and can more easily find themselves in doing the work for its own sake. Herein lies the secret of experiencing a true present. True presence. If you take the rune of the self and cut it down the middle, you will see the rune for joy with its mirror image. So it's the rune for joy with its mirror image. Sorry if that's kind of fuzzy. There we go. The rune for joy and its mirror image. There is a subtle caution here against carelessness. The dancing, acrobatic energy of balancing is called for now. The self is required to balance the self. Nothing in excess was the second phrase written over the gateway to the Temple of Delphi. The first counsel was, know thyself. Know thyself. Nothing in excess. That's the new situation that will emerge for this new moon, and then I'll do another rune casting then at the new moon. So, growth, I'm blanking. Oh, that's right. Growth, signals reversed, and the self. Those are the three runes. Growth is the situation, signals reversed is the action being called for, and the self is the new situation. I'm going to close out this little rune cast, and thank you so much for being with me. This is the first of many, many videos on the Barbarian Runecast YouTube channel, and pretty soon I will have a way for y'all to schedule one-on-one consultations if you'd like. And this YouTube channel is affiliated with my podcast, Barbarian Noetics, with Conan Tanner. So you can find that podcast anywhere podcasts are, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever. Barbarian Noetics with Conan Tanner. Ate Malkuth Vigeboram Vigejula Leolam Amen. Ate Malkuth Vigeboram Vigejula Leolam Amen. Positive only. May all else fall away but that which serves your highest self, your true self. Much love, everybody. Until next time.